and gentlemen, welcome to the Junkyard Love Podcast. Today I have Brian, DJ Toasty, and K3lls. Happy to have you both here. So this one I'm pretty pumped about. We have the three of us here, and we are all three DJs. We've all been DJs for like quite a while in different areas, in different fields, and we've crossed different paths in different ways. So I want to just kind of like start from the inside and branch out and kind of explain our world of DJing from this side of the decks, you know. So I think I'm going to start. I want to ask you guys about how you got started with DJing. So I'm going to start with that. I'll tell kind of my intro story. So Kelly knows it very well. Toasty, if you didn't know, I got into DJing through Kelly. We had met up through a mutual friend, and we were just BSing about, it seemed to be like Bass Nectar or something that I don't really like that much now, but we really liked that album back then. So we just got bonding over that, and I had this opportunity. I was like, man, I always really thought DJing was so cool, and you were just like, what? That's so cool that you think that. Let me show you everything. And I was like, yeah. I was probably crying that night. I was so pumped that because I just thought, you didn't think that when you think about this art form, DJing, even any art form, you think that there's like gatekeepers, and like you feel kind of embarrassed to ask about it, right? So, but anyway, so we can touch on that certainly. But you made me feel super comfortable. Over the next few months, you had showed me a couple things. I came over to your house, and you then let me borrow your mixer for a couple months, and that was that's like the rest of my life. That definitely set me down a path, so I definitely am grateful for that. So Kelly started me out here, but before that, when I had just flirted with it, I actually had this moment at the Gorge. Before I had asked you, whatever even gave me the courage to ask you to show me, I had this moment at the Gorge where I was watching Cascade on the hill, and I was by myself, and my friends had floated off. And it was just this euphoric moment where it was like, I wonder if I could do something. Maybe I can make people feel how he's making me feel. It was this I wonder if, and then that's when I kind of decided that I wanted to flirt with the world of DJing and making music. So that was my falling in love with the art of DJing and music. And Kelly, you skyrocketed me out there, and then from there it was just the history behind that. I've been DJing for 8 years, I think now, something like that, and that's just expanded to everything. We started with EDM, and then you play a little bit of everything now. You go into clubs and bars and weddings and CTSOs and corporate events and stuffy stuff. I've DJ'd a funeral once, so that was strange. Yeah. Oh no, it's a wake. We have to call it a wake because it's for some reason that means not funeral. It actually really wasn't that bad, but anyway, the point being is we all kind of get into DJing in our art forms in different ways. So there's kind of a little step into the water of how I got mine. So let's go ahead and go to you, K3lls. What did you get started DJing, and what even led you to take that step towards it?
So I moved up to Bellingham when I was right out of high school. Moved up there and just kind of, sat down with a few of my friends and we're like, hey, we know this cool hookah bar. We want to go? So went down there, and there's this hole in the wall. It's called the Cobra Lounge. And this guy walked in there, and really cool, murals on the wall, couches everywhere, hookah lounge. Pretty cool, right? This guy named DJ Einstein was very cool name. Was spinning that night, and he just the way he DJ'd made everything just so cool and just so dynamic, and it was a cool environment. It was just wow, this is really cool. I want to do that kind of thing, and from there, I just kind of researched it, and I saved up a little bit of money for some speakers and my first mixer, and I went from there. And then we had this big 8-bedroom house. It was a duplex, and we had parties every once in a while. And they're always like, Kelly, you're gonna play tonight? I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Heck yeah.
So just kind of got started there, and then yeah, it just really snowballed from there. Like,
doors open up, right? You start meeting different people, get different gigs.
Yeah, so eventually, I think I was at that point where there were still vinyls being played too.
Wait, do you remember like what year-ish this was? Wait, how old are you?
I'm 30.
You're 30? Okay, yeah. You're only 2 years older than me, so vinyls. Yeah, that's crazy because I like skipped over vinyls.
I guess to like really like timestamp it is like right when Rusko came out. Like Woobus got me into dubstep.
Yo, that's crazy. My first show that got me into even enjoying EDM was Rusko.
Yeah. So I just remember like even being in the back room, and this person actually played a big part of it too. His name was Greg Jones, and him and his buddy David were DJs, and Greg and I are in the back room of where I was working at the time, and he goes, "Dude, have you ever heard of this?" And there was like house music, there's like Daft Punk and like Justice and all those kind of guys that were out. So I was kind of listening to those, and that kind of got me into that. But then finally, it like, I've never heard of this. Like, what is this? Like, and it just got me hooked. So yeah, dubstep and DJing kind of just went hand in hand, and I kind of took off from there. So one house party led to another house party. I think I did it for like, there was a house party after house party for like 3 months straight.
Of course.
And that kind of got me like, kind of like helped me, I don't know how to say it, like just get better at DJing.
It forces you to learn. I mean, it throws you to the wolves, and it's like, perform, man. You're in a spotlight.
Yeah. So trial and error, and that's came home, met you.
Yeah.
And kind of the rest is history.
Yeah, we started doing some bigger shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, okay, dope, cool. That's DJ K3lls, and so now we got Toasty. DJ Toasty, man, give me some of your background. I really don't even know it.
The legend. Oh my gosh.
It's the man.
You guys are going to make me feel old. So I actually started DJing in 95. Okay. So I was in high...
4. Just kidding. I won't make you feel old. Sorry, anyway.
So I started because... we had mobile DJs coming in and doing our high school dances, and they were older, and they're like way older, like 30 plus. And so they were playing music that, I mean, really wasn't connecting with anybody. And so I said I could do that. And it's funny, now I think back, and I got into it too because I'd go to the high school dances and I was kind of the outcast. I didn't dance, it was very awkward. I loved music, classically trained piano, saxophone, bassoon, trombone, played all those instruments growing up. But, I didn't like the music that the guy was playing, and I couldn't dance. So it was like, okay, I want to go to these functions because that's part of that whole social, growth thing. How am I going to be still involved? And so I hooked up with a guy locally, Scott Netling, who owns Music More DJs, great guy. And I said, hey, I don't have the music library because in '95 there wasn't the internet. There wasn't like you just go to Spotify or
like before LimeWire even.
Yeah, you couldn't just go buy music. I mean, you couldn't go quote find music. You actually had to have a collection. And so he hooked me up. He said, yeah, I'll let you rent my mobile gig set up. And so we had way too many speakers and blew too many breakers the next dance. And it was amazing. It was so much fun. So that was 95. Graduated high school, went off to college for a little bit, came back, and there was a place that opened up in town. It's on the corner of Commerce and Florida right now. It's the Roxy, Heath Coffee. That whole building used to be called South Pacific. Mm-hmm. So that was like 2000 to 2005. And so I went in there, and it was funny because they had started with house music because that's what the owners liked. And it was way before the EDM boom. And so nobody in town, wanted to hear house music. And so they'd have like 2 DJs that were just working it. And good DJs, fantastic DJs, and I loved it. I went in there a couple times. I'm like, oh my god, this is
I would have loved it too.
It was fantastic. And I had started listening to I grew up, listening to alternative music, grunge and STP and Alice in Chains and Red Hot Chili Peppers and that whole Nirvana, that whole age of grunge. But I'd really gotten into like Euro dance. It's going to sound cheesy saying it, but Venga Boys and Two Unlimited and, that whole pop house,
for your
cheesy
time.
pop. Yeah. I mean, Chemical Brothers, that whole genre of music, just Prodigy. So I fell in love with that type of music, but there was no place to play it. There was no place to listen to it. There wasn't online mixes back then, So anyway, stumbled into this South Pacific, and they had these house DJs, loved it, but there was nobody there. They're all over at the casino next door because they did top 40 pop over there. And so I talked to the owners, and I said, hey, I'm a mobile DJ, and I'll play any type of music you want to play. And they're like, yeah, we'll give you a shot. So started playing there, and just did kind of an open format wedding reception mix of music. And at the end of the night, the last 30 minutes, I'd always play house. And the people that wanted to listen to the house were there, and if the people that didn't want to listen to the house, then they just kind of trickle out the front door. And it was okay. The owners were cool with it. So did that, got hooked up with Concept Entertainment. So that place closed in 2005. Then got hooked up with Concept Entertainment, became their music director, and oversaw music programming for 7 different locations in Portland. So Thirsty Lion Chain, Grand Central Bowl, Lotus. There was a couple other places, but the main one that I was working at was Barracuda, which was the largest nightclub in the Pacific Northwest. 1,100 person capacity on average, DJing between 8 and 1,500 people. Sometimes we'd push capacities. So that was definitely a getting thrown to the wolves, because South Pacific was like 200 people max. And you have different room sizes, have definitely different energies, different speed of mixing, just different skill sets.
A million different dynamics with every situation here.
And honestly, a 1,100 person room is a lot easier to DJ for than like a 150 person room. Because they're all there, 1,100 people, they're not going anywhere. You can get away with whatever you want to play. And so that, Well,
the odds of there being somebody at least bobbing their head or
Correct.
somebody enjoying it, because that's what the crowds need, someone to give them permission to dance. I mean, that's how a lot of crowds work. So
Yep.
if there's even one group, if you can get 30 people happy out of a huge group like that, you're getting it.
Everybody's happy, yeah. So did that for a while. They ended up shifting their focus and expanding their Thirsty Lion brand, which is a gastropub design. And so they actually closed Barracuda, and they closed a couple of the other locations that were just high risk, meaning liquor sales as opposed to food sales. And so they closed those down. I made a career change, got into IT at that time, but have still kind of dabbled in. I had a residency over in Bend for 3 years. I was doing that once a month. Do a lot of consulting for sound installs and promotions and marketing. So I kind of get to keep my toes in the nightclub piece of it, but not be out late, past 9 p.m. and still getting involved with the local scene here with you guys, kind of dabbling back into what I really love. But obviously it's not my full-time gig anymore.
Yeah. So I mean, it's funny how you start with one thing and it projects you onto all these other things, because that's how I started with my audio engineering and audio directing stuff. Is I was like met up with Kelly and I was like, music is cool,
right.
And then it was like DJing is cool, and then it was after that it was kind of like the production company that I'd been doing just random whatever, like, hey, I'll rap chords, like just teach me how to work a camera, I'll do it,
right.
It's doing like all these side things. It was finally like, oh cool, I am pretty good, I'm getting good at this music thing. I could start making this kind of my specialty. And so I dove into that. Sounds like what you did there too. I want to, thanks for giving me you guys this history. That's great. I want to back up a little bit from the moment that we first got into DJing, right? I kind of want to talk about what you guys see as different. So imagine where our 16-year-old selves, where our, or whatever age we were when we were thinking what if I could DJ? What if I could whatever? It's so different now than it was back then. Like we had our own struggles, and we found a way. Like I mean, ours seems like cakewalk to you because you had to really search. Like
there was, it's funny. I was thinking about this on the drive over, that you talk about gatekeeping, right? Like you needed to meet somebody in order to be able to get into that world. And for me, I met a guy. His name's Aaron. He's a couple years older than me, and he was really into house music, and he had turntables. Right. So the things that are different for like a DJ trying to get started now from back then to buy 2 used turntables and a mixer, it was like $750, meaning used, and it was garbage stuff. Right. But then to be able to actually get the music, so we're talking about vinyl, right? So a UK import house record might have 3 tracks on it, was $11.99. $10.99 at Platinum down in Portland. So to be able to even acquire the music, because you couldn't get it anywhere else besides on vinyl most of the times, or you could find it on CD. This was before LimeWire, so you couldn't even pirate it, right? For a domestic, so if you wanted to, get 50 Cent in the club, and you had to buy 2 of them because you'd wear them out. Seriously.
Oh yeah, that's a thing too.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. How do you wear that out? I don't know much about vinyl. This is
so your needle. When you're cueing, you're actually cutting a little bit off the song each time, and every time that it plays through, it's not digital. It's not just reading ones and zeros. It's reading the bumps in the groove. So that needle digs into it, and it'll actually, the more times that you play it, the less sonic quality that record will have. And finally, and then just being drunk back in my early days, you'd skip a needle and it'd scratch across, and then it was junk, because it would click each time that it would come around. So you'd have to have 2 to be able to, if it was a hot song. And those were $5, and they might have 1 or 2 tracks on it. So this was, 23 years ago, where it was super expensive to be able to even get into DJing. You could go out and buy the single on like a CD. You could buy someone's album, right? But if you're doing an 8-beat mix, you can't mix the singles.
Yeah.
So it was challenging. Your guys' challenges are way different than what mine were, when I started.
Definitely.
Yeah, dude, I think too much. Like one of our challenges is, you said it's like, I gotta like have these banger songs. Like, I gotta get them. I mean, you could probably play that out for a while. Or there was chances where people wouldn't really hear that song unless you had it. Like you'd be able to show them that.
Yeah, and that was and the other challenge that you'd have is, you'd show up to a gig and you'd pack 2 crates, right? So a crate has depending on the size of the crate, 40 to 70 tracks on it, right? So you'd show up and you'd have 80 to 140 tracks. That's it, right? And so if the crowd wasn't feeling what you were playing, you're kind of in a corner.
Yeah. Because
you couldn't go anywhere. Like, if you had a multi-hour gig, not just a 1-hour gig, show up, be the stud, but if you had like an open to close type set, and you started playing your tracks and people are showing up, they're like, oh, I don't like this type of, if they're expecting hip hop or top 40 and you're playing house, you're kind of stuck. I mean,
that'd be devastating. I could, I'm always, because you're always watching the room. You're like, okay, they don't like this.
Right. We got to go somewhere else.
Yeah. There's part of like, you got to kind of push what you were hired for. A lot of the times you got to dig into like what's really going on, what you kind of want to push them into, what's going to happen in the coming hours.
Yeah.
You can't just give them exactly what they want. But man, I couldn't imagine not being able to like grab a playlist or like, all right, I'm totally shit in the bed. I'm going to just like look up Spotify for ideas.
Right.
And then once I get the ideas, I can even download it. So that's something I could even download it on the fly.
Yeah.
You couldn't even like, you didn't have the option of like, well, that's a whole crate I left. That's a genre I left in the crate at home.
Right.
Can't even touch on it.
Well, and I think that, some of the crowd challenges that we were talking about earlier, the thing with the crowds is that they have their Spotify list that they've been listening to before they even get to the club. Yeah. They're like, I want to hear that. So I think some of, and we can touch on that more later, but.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do want to touch on that. I mean, that's something that I think I've talked to both of you guys about is I've noticed in the last few years that, my job is more difficult. And like that sentence just kind of sucks. But crowds are more difficult to please. They want what they want right now because that's what they're used to. I mean, we're all like that to some extent, but I'm like really taking like, how is it different from when I first started from now? And then hearing you too, it's like the people's reaction to, okay, I don't like this song. Oh, okay. Like, carry about my life, you know, like, oh, that sucks. Like, oh, maybe this isn't a place for us. Let's go somewhere else. Maybe this isn't our genre of music tonight. Let's go somewhere else. Now that person is like, they're so used to being able to pull out their phone and change the song. They don't stop themselves, but they're just walking up to the stage. It's like their body is just moving them, and they're like, hey, can you play this song, or can you play something else? Or they'll say something like blatantly rude. Over the last few years, I personally feel that people have gotten, I mean, I'm going to say 50% more mean towards the dude on the stage. Yeah. Maybe that's just been a lot of my experience. I definitely don't want to like paint a corner that like everyone's mean to DJs now. You know, I'm not trying to cry about it, but it's, I don't know. I think that the technology and the people in the crowd knowing more about music, knowing more about, thinking they know a lot more about our jobs. In coming and like demanding things. I definitely want to touch on that. Kelly, have you noticed any, like, you've been doing it for a while too, I mean, and we've kind of been in similar crowds. We've played a lot of the same places. Have you noticed any, like, the last few years, you know, any technology kind of changing the way people?
Definitely. You know, I'm a primary user of Spotify. I think people like to create their own playlists, and it is very ADD in a way. Like, when, for me, like, I like to sit down and I like to listen to a whole album. Like, just sit down and listen to a whole album, and just kind of, you know, get the feel of things. And if I don't like a certain song, I'll just let it ride, just keep playing. And I think you're definitely right. Like, people will come up to me and like, hey, I want this song right now, or I'm gonna leave in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, when people start figuring out that doesn't work, why would people say that all the time?
Right.
Here's the thing: if you really want your song played, give the DJ some money, pass him $5
and some respect.
Yeah,
right.
Like, show up. Like, here's what you do: you show up, you go, hey, I really like your mix tonight, or hey, I really like that shirt. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Like, do you think you could play this song for me? Or even like, we'll say that first, like compliment them, and then like, if that doesn't work, like, pass them $5. Right. See if your song gets played.
Yeah. You know? Give them some respect.
Well,
too.
And I mean, that's been since the day of, you know, the dawn of DJing. There's always been requests, always. Yeah. And you know, for me, you know, my residency in Bend was amazing because it allowed me to play basically everything. And you know, the crowd was so diverse. There's gay and lesbian and black and Hispanics and whites, and it's just an awesome mixing pot of different backgrounds and people enjoying different music. So you can kind of go everywhere. But then you have, you know, it's my birthday crowd, and they come up and they want to hear, you know, their song right now, and there's a lot going on when we're DJing. You know, we are trying to, I equate it to chess. We've got 4 or 5 songs that we've in our mind. We're like, I want to go here. This is the endpoint that I want to get to. So, you know, someone comes up to you and they're like, oh, I want this song, and you're at 120 beats per minute, and you're trying to get to 130 because, you know, we can go into music theory and talk about, you know, like, trying to rotate the dance floor and all that. But they come up and they're like, oh, I want this song, and it's a hot song, right? And it's 70 beats per minute. And it's like, okay, the energy's way up here, and then they're being demanding, and they're like, but I want it right now. And you don't want to tell them no, because it's a good song, and maybe I'll get to it, you know. And you tell them, you're like, yeah, great song, I'm going to get to it probably in about 45 minutes. And they're like, no, I want to hear it right now.
They refuse to accept that answer.
Yeah.
Like that, the fact that it is an option for them to come up to the stage, say, I want this, and we say, I'm going to try. It's not right when you want it. And for them to just not walk away and say, okay, thanks. It seems to me that I'm getting more like, no, I want it.
Right.
It's a weird thing.
It is.
Yeah. So as you were talking about BPM, you were talking, I definitely want to touch on that. I want to describe to, you know, I think of listeners who enjoy DJing, they enjoy what we do. Maybe they know anything about us, but maybe they don't know anything about DJing. So you mentioned BPM, beats per minute. Even terminologies like that, I want to like, unpack. So that is something that when a DJ starts, every single song has a BPM, a beats per minute. Every song has a tempo. Every song has a key. It has all these dynamics that it's the DJ's job to learn about prior, to know about prior. They have to take that song prior, and if they're in a comfortable spot, they already have all their cues laid out. They know what they're going to do with that song. They know that song goes good with these other songs sometimes if they're familiar with it, if it's not brand new. Yeah, sorry, Kelly, that chair just gets short. I set Kelly
Kelly's
up with
leaving us. Oh my gosh.
with the hydraulic chair that leaks sometimes. If you lean just right, it's just like hilarious. It'd be funny if you were ranting like something just super serious and it just starts slowly going down. But yeah, BPM and man, all these things that DJs do. So if you guys can help me, I would love to, without like whining about it, this is something that I'm concerned with, that I'm going to sound like I'm just like, you guys don't understand what I'm trying to do back here, you know. Yeah. How do we explain the art of DJing, of disc jockeying, of mixing music? Because it's not just about who can play the most bangers. It's not just about the transitions. It's not just about the taste. It's about looking at, like, glancing around the room, saying, where's this going to go in 10 minutes? What's going to happen? What time is it now? What's it going to look like in 45 minutes? There's, like you said beautifully, is the chess game.
Right.
And I feel that to me, looking forward in the next few years, the crowds, if they continue to be so demanding and not understanding and not try to, like, let's just be where we're at. Let's not try to control this thing. Let's just exist and let the DJ do what they want to do. I fear that we're not going to be able to play chess. We're just going to turn into wonderful
soulless
Spotify soulless shufflers.
Right.
So, I don't know. Any experiences you guys have, or anything you could think of that's like explains the art there?
So the phrase that I always think in the back of my mind, that a successful DJ is someone who plays the right song exactly the right time. That's if I have a night like that and I have like 5 or 6 points in the night where people just freak out. Mm-hmm. You've played the right song, and not freak out just because I've played, you know, the top 100, hot 100,
popular song. Yeah.
Right. Like, people forget about a song, and you play it at the right time, like, oh my god, you know, and the dance floor just goes, and they're just having the time of their life, and you carry that for like 5 or 6 songs, right? You're like, oh my god. I mean, that for me as a DJ is where it's at, is playing the right song at the right time, because you can play all the bangers at 9 p.m. and that's the wrong time.
Mm-hmm. That's when everybody requests them. That's when they want them. It's weird.
Yeah.
I want to say, like, even like going right off the bat there, just that Einstein guy, that DJ Einstein, watching him kind of paint the room was so cool. And I guess that's I think that to me is what it's about. Like, it's you're right. You can definitely play all the bangers. You can even play stuff no one's even heard of, and in your mind, it's like, oh yeah, this is gonna go off,
right?
But it doesn't, and you're like, what's going on? Because some people do. A DJ is kind of like food, man. We're like chefs, in a way. Like, sometimes all you want is a greasy hamburger.
Yeah, man, that's like the fucking Cupid Shuffle is the greasy hamburger.
My favorite when I play locally, because that's the first thing they come up and request. You can play Cupid Shuffle tonight? Like, you know what? Tonight's going to be special. We're not going to play Cupid Shuffle.
Oh, my gosh.
And you see the look in their face. They're like, I've been hearing the Cupid Shuffle every single week for the last 3 weeks, you know?
For the last 3 years, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
yeah.
Can I confess something real quick?
Confess it.
Oh my gosh, Brian, you're gonna hate me for this. So we all on an agreement that Cupid Shuffle is just the bane of our existence, right?
It is.
So I got evil one day. I got really evil because the Cupid Shuffle, it just repeats itself, right?
Right.
So what I did,
I know.
I called it the Stupid Shuffle, and it's 10 minutes long, and it's like the same like hook over and over. So people like to dance to the song. They like to kind of line dance to it. So 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
Okay, keep on.
People out there for 6 minutes, and they're just like, when's it gonna end? I'm like, it's not gonna end. It's not.
Dude, you know what's so hilarious is, man, it's so crazy you just mentioned that because I have an 8-minute and 6-second, I think it's cha-cha slide,
Yes.
that I actually did the other day. I was like, I got to go to the bathroom, and my
Right.
friend's here. I'm going to say hi to him really quick. So I was like, this is perfect. I got like 4 minutes that I can be away. And so I was walking around, and I was literally thinking at the end of it, they were so enticed at 7 minutes, the exact same amount of enticement that was at 1 minute. And so I was like, I could play this exact same song, and these motherfuckers are still going to the left, to the left.
Right.
You know,
Just
like,
play it back to back. Just mix into it.
yeah.
All right.
So that's a great thing to even just lean on. So the reason why, we're poking fun because it's our job, right? The cha-cha slide, the Cupid shuffle.
I'll still play it.
It's for me. It's Yeah by Usher. That's like always the one that I always joke about. That song. I hope it just burns, and I wish I could delete it from existence. If I ever invent a time machine, I'm gonna skip over cha-cha slide and Cupid shuffle and just delete that fucking song. I like Usher, but no, not no. But so when we say things like, because a lot of people are like, I know you hate requests, Jake, or I know DJs hate requests. So some people kind of get that DJs hate requests, but they know that sentence.
Right.
They know that, like, they also come up and they say, hey, we play the Cupid Shuffle, like, nobody's dancing, bro. They're like, it's going to get everyone. They
Right.
try to tell you, like, bro, trust me with this thing, the person. So how do we communicate? How do we explain to them why we don't like, this is a broad example, but why we don't really like requests and why we don't super love the line dances? For me, it's because I can't do anything with it. It's just hitting play. But what about for you guys? What's the...
You guys might shoot me, but I think there's two sides to the coin. If I go into a new market, okay, so like when I first started going to Bend, and I didn't know the market at all, right? And so I'm out there and I'm doing my deal and, trying to impress people, and people would come up and they would request stuff. And so if you don't know the market, like if you're traveling, you're doing a Northwest Circuit or whatever, right? People that are coming up to you and they're like, oh, I want this Drake or one. You're like, oh, okay, I need to probably go in that direction. So it gives you a clue of, okay, this is the type of hip hop. This is the energy level of hip hop that I need to be playing, or the top 40, because that's the type that they're requesting. So there's some good and bad things with it, but the whole, I want to hear this song. It's 10 p.m. There's nobody here. It's the number one song in the U.S., whatever it is, right? They want to hear it right then, And a lot of people, consumers maybe don't understand as DJs. We definitely don't want to say no, but there are a gazillion songs out there. And for us to repeat a song in a night is ridiculous. With the amount of songs that are out there and the hits that have been out there over the past 20 years, it doesn't. I mean, there's so many other songs that you can play besides 2 songs in the same night. So it makes it challenging. I mean, I personally don't like requests. It depends. If I'm having a specialty night, if we're doing an EDM only night,
right,
and they're coming up and they're requesting Drake, and I'm like, the last 15 minutes you've heard has just been straight house. Yeah. You really think that I'm going to be playing Drake, or it's billed that way. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I've started doing my own nights, is to throw my own party and say this is what the music is, so when they walk in, the expectation. But
yeah, I have a kind of a love-hate relationship with requests. I mean, going back to the whole cheeseburger and a steak kind of thing. I mean, some people like steak. Some people want a cheeseburger. Like, that's
someone
just
a cheeseburger every night. Too.
Yeah. So even if you have like the hottest records in your mind, if you go through your DJ pool, if you follow some of the hottest playlists on Spotify too, you can in my mind. You can sit there and you can go, okay, these are going to bang out. Like, these are going to be really popping at wherever you're playing, And people will still come up to you and be like, what is this? Or look at you like you're an alien. Like, hey, man, can you play, like, strictly from, like, 2000 to 2010? Like, that era of, like, club music?
They never even tell you that much info, though. What people love to do is tell you that they don't like what you're doing, and then you're like, what would you like for me to play? And they say,
something different.
Something good.
Right. Yeah. Something different, something good, something you can dance to.
Yeah.
Like, full stop. Hold on. every song for the most part has rhythm, and you can dance to it.
Yeah.
So let's not use that as a criteria for the genre of music that you want me to play.
Yeah, Western music is eight beats.
Well, I've said to people, I can't teach you rhythm. What would you like to hear?
Right.
Yeah.
I have literally said that multiple times, and of course they don't understand it. But so you were saying with requests, you don't mind them, but
Yeah.
I mean it does. You were talking about the paintbrush thing, and that is very beautiful, Kelly. But like, I think that sometimes the requests kind of like rip the paintbrush out of our hand, and they're like, "Here's a Sharpie, just draw what I fucking want."
Right.
And we can't. Not only have you just like thrown this big old like mud clod into our clear water of what we were trying to like show you here, we also just have the next 20 minutes to try to recover from what you may have just like really wanted us to play right now. But so here's another thing, and this is something I definitely want to touch on, and this will be really good to talk with you about, Brian, because I was thinking about, I've been very just trying to take my whole life meta, like trying to like, why did I get into DJing? What am I doing now? What's going to happen? Just like when I first started, it was electronic music for sure. Like I wasn't against anything else, but I was just so hooked by electronic music. I had blinders on for any other music. I super loved hip hop always. I would listen to it and stuff, but I didn't want to DJ it. I would just kind of want to like do the electronic thing. And what I had done at the beginning was like, I took I'm even just going to say like a little bit of high school popularity. I'm going to say that. And then I started throwing my own parties and started like booking the homies. Yep. And then so we had like these huge outdoor, I don't know if we told you about these, like these outdoor renegade parties.
Yeah, Kelly and I have chatted about it multiple times.
I mean, we'd have like a few hundred people, like our upwards ones were like, drop the address the day of, and we'd have like 500 people out there at 4 a.m. Like these are totally illegal and terrible. But this was years ago. But so what it was is these are my parties to me. I have all the boys with me. Like I give myself the headlining slot. I play what I want. People love me, of course, because I just put myself in the golden spot.
Right.
But then I started like, okay, well, this is taking up a crazy amount of time. Let's start making some money for it. I started getting like, we played at my bar, we played at the club, we started playing clubs in Seattle and shit. We did a couple events in Vancouver, Portland.
Yep.
But it's funny because what I started with this thing of I can play whatever I want. I'm DJ Kronos. People fucking love what I play, and they did, and they listened to it. My online presence met the same thing.
Right.
People who came to my shows, they listened to those same mixes later. I loved it. Started doing more bar gigs and started realizing that like Jake Ryan's isn't super popular everywhere. Right. DJ Kronos isn't super popular everywhere. These people in this bar that I'm playing for don't give a fuck about what I'm playing and what I'm doing with my fingers and how cool it is that I matched these two songs. And then it's like, it was this weird thing where I was like, oh man, I got momentum in this direction. I didn't realize where I was putting myself.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden I'm like this confident playing for 500 people who fucking love me.
Right.
And then I'm in a bar at 10 p.m. and an old guy is just like screaming at me with his finger in my face because I didn't play Johnny Cash or something.
Right.
And so it's this huge dynamic, right? So we see DJing, disc jockeying, DJing, like it's the most broad terminology ever. But like we kind of not only get confused ourselves, I think, but like the audience gets confused. Like they don't know the difference between the guy they hired at their wedding and Skrillex.
Right.
They have no idea.
Oh.
And I think like what I was saying there with that example of me, like, I was like the cool guy, the headliner, I have this sound. I was more of an artist and less of a worker. You kind of get into these environments where you're playing at a bar, you're playing at a club, and you want to be kind of your own artist. You want to be an individual. Right. You want to show these people like, hey, I don't know how to explain it to you in words, but like I know things about music. I can show you a story in this musical journey tonight if you just let me. Right. But that doesn't cross well with giving people what they want when you're hired for a gig. So
I think one of the terms that I've tried to live by too is 2 for you and 1 for me. And so when you're mixing, when you're playing the songs, so you're not losing your total integrity, because I mean you got a gig, if you're gigging and you're like, okay, I got to do this, 2 or 3 times a month, to be able to have supplemental income or to be able to just feel whole, whatever it is. You just don't want to be a soulless jukebox. Like, you just don't want to show up and play the top 20 songs and just call it a day and collect your check. And I don't think anybody has ever got into DJing to be able to do that. So I think that there's 2 ways that I've kind of been coming back into DJing, because anytime that you leave for an extended period of time, I call it the itch. You get the itch, right? You're like, I don't, you know what? I need to take a break. This isn't for me. You know, I want to go explore other areas, whatever it may be, life, family, artistry, right? And you'll get down the road and you'll be like, okay, I got to go do this again because this is who I am. So for me, getting back into it, you know, I'll be 41 in April. I mean, I'm very much a veteran of doing this. I'm not a young buck anymore, and I still get it. I'm like, I want to go DJ tonight, you know? And so what I've done is, now that I'm older, I have to obviously be selective. And so when I go out and do a gig, so if I'm heading over to Bend, like in February, it'll be a 2 for you, 1 for me, meaning 2 for the crowd, 1 for me. Or how do I find a unique remix for this song that isn't too far out there? Like the integrity of the song still gets played and people recognize, and they can still sing along and say, oh, it's my birthday, I love this song, right? And so recognize enough. But then the flip side is like what you're talking about. You threw events that people knew what they were getting when they showed up, right? And so you can put yourself at the center of attention and be able to play what you want to play. So there's definitely two sides, you know, keeping your integrity with the 2 for them, 1 for you, but then you just do a night, you know. And I've been listening to a lot of podcasts with older DJs that's what they're starting to get back into, rather than doing this, you know, playing the hottest clubs type stuff. They go back to their home city, and meaning big cities like Seattle and San Francisco and LA, and they start doing their own nights. And they're like, okay, I want to be a curator of music, right? And I want to deliver it to people that are interested in that. And so they start doing their own nights to be able to do that, rather than, okay, I got to do 4 gigs this month, and, you know, I got to do them at these bars that you got guy in the corner yelling at you playing Johnny Cash, right? So
for the record, I love Johnny Cash. But
oh yeah, Johnny Cash is great.
It just doesn't mix that well with Skrillex, you know?
Right? It does. No, it does. You just have to try hard.
It does.
Right?
Yeah, you just need to try way harder.
Yes. Oh my God.
I fell into a burning ring of fire. Yeah, no, that is super interesting. I really like that perspective, because I guess that is kind of what at the beginning, same thing as I started. I was like, I want to do this. This town, we're in a small town where we're at. You've probably heard a million times if you listen to podcasts, but we're currently in Castle Rock, and we're talking about the towns of Kelso, Longview area anyway, which is where a little bit hour north of Portland, and 2 hours south of Seattle. So we have this small town dichotomy, but it's weird, right? Like it's interesting. Like you guys have played Seattle, Portland, like to some extent. Like it's weird having the small town right next to the big town, but it is cool being like finding your own lane and like digging it in. And like, okay, like there's some people here who like this, but like let's like find really who they are,
right.
You know? So you can kind of put yourself on those. So any like listeners, any young DJs, any young artists, musicians, put yourself on, dude. Like if you want to start throwing parties, start getting your homies together and pool. Like, what do you have? You have a light? Cool. My other friend has a green light. We'll get your blue light. We'll put those behind us. Cool. We got 2 lights.
Right.
You got any friends with speakers? My aunt has a speaker. Dude,
right.
Get it together, pool together. That's what we did.
Yeah.
And we, try to get some legal stuff going on your end. Don't do everything illegally in the woods, but, throwing your own nights. That's something that we're all doing. We're all kind of older, and we all have our gigs here and there. We all DJ in like different ways. I have my more audio engineering. Kelly is still always in school. He's always like massively learning
constantly
so much.
in school.
I became more of a wedding DJ.
Right.
So
I think just putting yourself on. Do you want to talk about wedding DJing, Kelly? Do you want to like go on the contrast between that, because that's something that I think should be explained. What's the big contrast there?
Oh, wedding DJing is way much different from bar DJing or even DJing as yourself. Wedding DJing is kind of one of those things where you go into it and you're trying to make these people's day. Like you're one of the most integral parts of that person's wedding. Right. So you're there with their family, and it's you play very PG music, and it's not heavy mixing. It's more of just playing what these people know, and it's not heavy mixing, like I said.
They don't want mixes. They want the full song, right? That's
Yeah,
what you mean
like-
when mixing. He's saying like not in between two songs, not mashing up.
Yeah, you're not mashing. You're not really doing much of that. You're just trying to set a mood and trying to keep the wedding party moving. That's what I think weddings are. And yes, it is about the music, but it's more of creating that time for them, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, I think there's a different level of, I'm not going to say professionalism, but there's a different amount of stress. I mean, I honestly haven't done a wedding in 10 years. I get asked all the time. It's funny. I'll be at a nightclub and people are just going nuts and, playing all these remixes and they're having the time of their life, right? And they're like, oh, I got a wedding come up. I want this guy, right? Mm-hmm. And they'll come up to me. I'm like, you don't want me at your wedding because it's going to be like this. And you'll be dancing, but your family's not going to be into it.
Your family will hate my guts
right.
and fight me afterwards.
But when I was gigging with weddings regularly, or corporate events, special events, class reunions, parties, it's stressful because like weddings, it's one of the most important days of their life. Yeah. And, a speaker goes out or you're late or you don't play the right type of music. I've had instances where, you guys might laugh, but, Baby Got Back, right? So Sir Mix-a-Lot, which is a classic hip hop, even 10 years ago, it was classic, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so wedding party will come up, we want to hear this song. And we're like, all right, that's safe, right? That's a safe song, right? Yeah, and you play it. And then the mom and dad that are paying for the wedding come up to, where you're DJing. Right. And they're like, what are you playing? Why are you playing this? And the dance floor's packed and the wedding reception is just having a great time, right? And so it's that weird dynamic of appeasing the person that's paying you. Mm-hmm. So traditionally it's been, mom and dad or the bride, right? Mm-hmm. To the bride and the groom who are honestly stressed out. Yeah. Most important day of their life. They've been building up to this moment, and they just want to have a good time.
They don't want to think about what song's playing. They just want to dance to it if they hear it.
Right. And so it's definitely a different stress level than playing like a nightclub gig.
Yeah, it's huge. It's for me. I've recently stepped out of weddings. It's like I actually they're emotionally. I'm a very like. It's hard for me to like. I pick up on a lot of emotions like that. Mm-hmm. So when it's the same way any of us do, I'm sure. But so if it's like, if I mess this up, this is not just like, oh man, they're not going to want to hire me and they're not going to recommend me. They're not going to blah, blah. When I'm thinking like, if I mess this up, I'm going to ruin this woman's wedding and it's the most important day of her life. I'm putting her whole, I'm putting these people, their most important day of their life on my shoulders. And honestly, I bet you that you guys do the same thing in certain ways too.
Yeah, totally.
It's something that is super huge. And I think that like a lot of like the drunk uncles at weddings are very unforgiving. Like they're very... Again, I'm particularly a sensitive dude. I can usually take some banter, but sometimes, man, when I'm thinking so in depth about not ruining this woman's wedding and trying to do the absolute best that I can, like I'm just a thin piece of glass, and I don't realize. I've had weddings where I'm just like, I'm so good. I'm like, okay, things are going so well, and then like some drunk uncle comes up and he's just so fucking mean to me that I'm just like on the verge of tears afterwards. I'm a grown man. And I'm like, man, I didn't realize how much I had on my shoulders, but it just started to crack. But yeah, so I've stepped out of weddings. Not that it's like just because people are super mean and I'm super sensitive. This is just because as far as enjoyment and what I want to be doing, I've just been able to like make my money with my audio engineering stuff. But
I mean, weddings can be fun. They can be a blast.
Weddings can be like super fun,
right? And if you can get that vibe going, and if you're going from Beatles Twist and Shout and everybody is just going nuts on the dance floor. I mean, it's a totally different energy level than a nightclub gig, unless they're a dry wedding. Yeah. Dry weddings suck.
Yeah. Have you guys ever successfully done a dry wedding? I have not.
No.
Oh wait,
I have performed, obviously provided services at a dry wedding, but it was everybody sitting eating dinner, and then you're just trying to hit the bangers. Yeah. And nobody's dancing.
I didn't know what to do. It wasn't the one that I did was not bad. I only did one. It was honestly good. Like at the end of the night, they were like, "That was amazing.
Right.
That was wonderful." I'm like, "Are you sure?"
Like,
Yeah,
nobody
Like,
on the
but-
floor,
but
right?
You know what's funny is I was kind of comparing it to like how weddings typically go. Though honestly, at the end, I just felt bad. I was like, I wish that I didn't like. I'm not willing to do this because I just have my one flat rate because I have to do it that way. It's so much. But I was
Right.
like, I wish I didn't charge you this much because I feel like what you got wasn't like I give people so much more for the same price. You know, you didn't
Right.
want it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was super apprehensive about doing weddings at first.
Yeah.
Like, people would always ask me, they'd go, "Do you do weddings?" And I'd be like, "Oh man, like, yes, I have done weddings, and it is a lot of stress." I think the hardest part about weddings is the processional, like the down and back is like the most nerve-wracking thing. I think I remember it was like 95 out. And I just remember, Jordan coming up to me. He's like, "Dude, are you okay?" And I did a double setup, which is you do a set of speakers out by like the altar, and then you'll have like another set of speakers like where all the
Dancing is going to, the reception
Really
part.
hard to do by yourself.
And I'm just there, just sweating bullets because I'm nervous. I don't want to mess this up, and B, it's just super hot out. So as soon as we got through to the processional, it's like I could kind of take a breath. Like,
Yeah.
Ooh, like we're through that. Like now the fun part begins. And yeah, like just what you're saying, you have those drunk uncles who come up. I remember some guy came up to me and wanted Van Halen's Eruption. And I'm just going through like the normal wedding stuff.
Right.
And Eruption's like this like 3-minute long guitar solo by Eddie Van Halen.
Oh man.
And it's a great solo. I mean, I love that song, but it's
Right.
like not wedding appropriate. Like it's like, and so finally I caved, and I was just like, all right, I'll play it. And it's just this ridiculously awesome guitar solo, and yeah. So I played it, and I'm like, okay, we can move on from that. And he comes back like 5 minutes later. Play it again. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I've also been at the mercy of a 5-year-old once too. Where
Oh, that'll get you too.
Yeah.
They give the kids the power, they take it.
yeah, and here's the thing, when I get hired for weddings, you're hiring me to basically curate this thing. Like it's not going to be one of those things where I want someone like, because people think that if they go up to the bride and they convince the bride, "Hey, bride, play this song," because the DJ is not playing it.
Which is a terrible thing to do.
is.
If
Very
you do that,
terrible
like
thing.
dude,
There's
it's
so
not
many
a
other
wedding.
things that the bride is worrying about. Like,
Man,
I don't know.
The absurdity of how often that happens, I
Yeah.
am pretty surprised. I don't know if that happens often around you guys, but like people have, like if I've said no, they have gone to the bride or groom.
Right.
And
Yeah.
like, what? Do you realize that an 8-year-old also does that? Like, you won't play my song.
Right.
Yeah.
So this kid, he wanted like 5-Finger Death Punch, and I'm just like, no, we're not playing aggressive metal. No. And he goes and gets his dad, and his dad comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, can you play this song?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Well, I'm gonna go tell the bride," and I'm just like, "Please don't do that." And he went and got the bride, and the bride came over, and she's hammered, and so she's just inebriated already. And she goes, "Hey, can you play the song?" And I'm just like, I'm at the mercy of an 8-year-old who has terrible. I shouldn't say that. Who doesn't understand, like, this is a wedding.
Well, an 8-year-old should not have that much power. Of course, the 8-year-old doesn't understand. He's 8 years old.
Right.
He shouldn't
Yeah.
have that power. He also shouldn't have a driver's license. That's why we're safe on the road.
Right.
Gosh, like, could you imagine if you still listened to the music you did when you were 8?
I don't know what I listened to when I was 8.
I was listening to like Biggie Smalls. I mean, I guess not,
yeah.
not all of us were that cool, but
Yeah.
I didn't get into like 90s hip hop.
I at 8, I was very sheltered, so I was listening to like the Commodores, like 60s and 70s music, R&B, black jazz. That's the type of music that my folks listened to, and so that's what I grew up on. You know, so at 8, God, that would have been early 90s. So, And then, my dad kind of got stuck in the 60s and 70s. So, when you're talking about DJing, diverge a little bit. So you have the sphere, your musical influence years. So age 16, whatever you're listening to when you're 16, if that song or that group of music ever comes on in a bar or a nightclub, you will fanboy or girl out. You're like, oh my gosh, and so, for me, I didn't really have that. I was always listening to, like I said, 60s and 70s R&B, rock, that kind of stuff. So it's interesting. You get in those mixing moments and you look out in the crowd and you're like, okay, if I want to hit home with some of these people, and you're like, okay, what were they listening to when they were 16? If they're 26, so that's 10 years ago, so you do all that type of, thought process on it. But, I don't know why an 8-year-old would be doing heavy metal at a wedding. And the crummy thing is that as soon as you play that, then the entire mood that you have set for the entire night is now destroyed.
Which is great when you are trying to reset it, right? Like sometimes you could just throw it, like out of nowhere, you just throw some song that everybody can sing out loud,
right?
Yeah. Even if it's a slow song,
right?
Just reset it. But when that happens, when it's like just a song that's completely out of
so jarring,
yeah. And people don't know what to do. And it's funny because we, the squeakiest wheel gets the grease, right? That's what it always is with, really everything. But the person that always comes up, it's hard for me anyway, for a lot of us, because it's hard to tell them, like, hey, you're not everyone,
right?
Like what you're saying,
right?
Like, cool, cool, man. Like, I trust. Okay, I believe you that this is going to fill the dance floor, but it's also my job, and I've been doing it for a very long time, so I think I know more than you,
right?
And but you can't say that. You of course you can't say that to the person that's coming up to you.
Weddings are a different read too. Like, so I'm gonna try and be Jake for a bit here.
Careful.
Reading a crowd is kind of looking around the room, seeing if people are vibing out to what you're playing. So reading a wedding is a little bit different because you have weddings have a timeline, whereas like a bar doesn't.
Right.
You're not. We're gonna do toast. We're gonna do dinner. We're gonna do first dances.
You're not hosting the event,
right?
Right.
Yeah. At a wedding, you're hosting the event. You are the timeline. You're controlling it.
Right.
Yeah. So you're not gonna just play some crazy stuff during dinner. Like, you're gonna want dinner music.
You're gonna ease into it.
You want, and then as the night progresses, we're still PG, but I love it when there's weddings where it's like you kind of look around and you're like, okay, are all the old people and kids gone?
Right.
And then it's like,
okay,
turn it into club, turn this place into a club,
right?
Right. So
well, I think some of the challenges you have, like when you play a reset song, right, if you want to call it that, or a request that's been demanded to the wedding party, and now they've come over to you. The challenging part, and you can run into this in the nightclubs too, is you play that song and it breaks the mood, and all of a sudden somebody has to make a decision: do I want to stay or do I want to go? So at a wedding, you've built this entire vibe, right? And the wedding party's having a great time. They're out there dancing, and then basically you get demanded to play this song. You play it, and now, like, oh, hey, look, it's getting late. And, we've had a little bit too much drink. So it can actually destroy the party at that point. And same thing in a club night. You're like, if you get demanded, you're like, okay, I'm way up here energy-wise, and you play this hip-hop song, right, that nobody knows because they demand it off their phone. People, it breaks their mood, and then all of a sudden they're saying, you know what, hey, let's go, maybe we go find someplace else.
Yeah, when that wasn't even an option. They weren't even going to say that before.
Right. They're enjoying it. They're having a good time. You as the DJ, you're making money for the bar. You've created this atmosphere, and then all of a sudden you got to play this one song, or you make a mistake and you play a wrong song, and then it breaks the vibe, and then people basically pull up and they're like, all right, well let's go to this bar, or we're done for the night or whatever.
Yeah, it kind of flips that switch and makes them start like going down that path.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. So the world of today, DJing, I think of like 16 young kids, 16-year-olds, 21, like anybody listening who's like, all right, we got some old cats who's like, let's listen to this podcast and see if we can like learn something.
Right.
So, nowadays, dude, it's so crazy different. Like whether you're going to be like a wedding DJ, whether you're gonna like you want to play EDM, whether you want to be a producer, like knowing what lane you're going into, I think is really important. That's something that caught me off guard that I didn't realize was like I started building a mobile DJ business and I didn't want to be a mobile DJ, and I was years into it, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't want to be up till 4 a.m.
Right.
Every night. I don't want to like carry all my stuff to this gig every Saturday. I'm not saying these are bad things. Like these are still things that I do very much. This is how I make money, But it's when I started realizing like, oh, I kind of cornered myself, just like letting the opportunities kind of ride me into the field that I wanted to. So I think riding opportunities is important. But I think when you don't know much, when you're starting from like 0 point as a DJ, I think knowing the difference between producing, between DJing, between wedding DJing, between club DJing, between knowing what the words open format means,
right?
All these things. So someone who just loves music, and we've all had them throughout our lives, they're like, man, I would love to DJ, right? We have so many people who they think that they can't. They're like, I don't know anything, whatever. Right. But like we're always, I can guarantee you, we're like, dude, do it. That's so cool.
Right.
Can I show you? Come over. Like we're like, yeah. So what do you guys think? Like the starting point, what would you say? Anybody who's wanting to get into it?
Well, I think it goes from what you said was that you have to love music first.
Oh yeah.
And you have to, and honestly, I mean, you don't have to love like every single genre, but you have to be a lover of music. And I think it doesn't matter which lane you pick out, whether or not it's mobile or wedding or nightclub or straight genre. Nightclub, meaning, you're a hip hop nightclub DJ or you're an EDM nightclub DJ. You just have to love music and be able to appreciate it. Like, oh, I like that sound, or be able to recognize, I don't know. I mean, one thing that I wish that I would have got more into, and hopefully, I can make time to, is producing, because I love music that's sonically complex, but at the same time can be simple. And so I don't like all hip hop, but I enjoy listening to hip hop because I can pick out different pieces. I'm like, ooh, that's cool. That's cool.
Right.
Yeah. I would say, even to my former self, or even to a young producer, it doesn't happen all at once. Like you're gonna suck for a long time. Right?
I sucked for 15 years. I'm just gonna be honest. I thought I was good.
And whether,
knowing you suck.
Whether that's like DJing or producing, like you're gonna go through that phase where you're just gonna suck. Like the music you make just is terrible. Like your transitions are terrible. Like
music selection's terrible.
Music selections,
right?
But Brian, yeah, you're right. You have to be a lover of music, and it has to be something you do. It's like, even from the podcast about Spencer, like he was like, you have to do it. Like you can't just be like, oh, I want to lift weights, so I'm gonna go to the gym once.
Yeah,
and then
I'm gonna look at him. I'm gonna talk about him. I'm gonna tell everybody about him. Yeah. But I'm not getting very big because I haven't touched him yet. But I'm gonna look at him.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's with anything. It's shooting basketballs. Yeah. It's doing math problems. You have to do it. You have to put that work in, and it's sitting in your bedroom for hours.
Right.
Like I'm pretty sure I like annoyed the crap out of my roommates up in Bellingham just playing like all the time.
The hours and hours and days and days. Dude. You probably just were in headphones.
Yeah.
And it's so enthralling, and that's the thing is, if you're like, oh, I want to be a DJ, but if these things don't spark you, I'm not saying that there's a certain amount of hours that you need in, but like, just follow that intuition, man. If you do have a drive to not hang out with a bunch of people, but you actually just want to be by yourself and make some music, and you want to mix some stuff, and that's more exciting, man, follow that. That's so cool. That's so okay. I think that like, just loving music, just like you said, is that's how you get into it. That's like like as much as, again, bringing back the gatekeeper thing, as much as you're like, I don't think that, like, I just like music. I don't even know what a C minor is, whatever. Well, I've been DJing and I've now made an audio engineer degree out of it. I have an audio engineer degree. I travel the freaking US, like making money, and I enjoy it. And I have like really cool friends who I can talk about DJing with on my podcast. Like, knowing how these microphones work started from me saying, I like music. I think Cascade is cool. You know, like, so I think just starting with, I love this, and then just working at it. Just put some headphones in and just get to work.
And afterwards, once you kind of start getting better, that's when it gets fun. Like when you're ready to, I mean, Brian, do you get butterflies before you go on a show?
Every single time. Every time.
It doesn't
Small
matter.
show, big show.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't matter, and it's not butterflies like, oh, I'm gonna do a bad job. It's important to you.
It's very important.
Yeah.
So you have to love music.
Yeah.
And it has to be important to you. If you just want to, show up, and I'm not picking on you, but because I've done it too, but be the headliner and and have eyes on you and not put any work. Like just pick the top 10 Beatport songs and play them and remember, oh my gosh, this is great. It might not be for you because you're going to get burned out real quick because people are going to move on, or it's going to get old. You talk about all the different things that DJing has done for you. For me, it got me into IT technologies, and getting to where I'm at with my career, and doing some really cool, complex things with computers and all that.
Yeah, all the intricate like installing stuff that you do. It's just so crazy. But that started from you saying, I like music.
Yeah, I like music. I can do it better than this guy that's doing.
That's so insane.
Do you guys think that because that is super cool if you think about like the ultimate like creation entrepreneur, like it's like you don't even so DJing, I feel like you could really start. It's guitar playing, you're like, I love music, I'm gonna pick up a guitar. It's quite a while before you like, I mean, you can't really just like make something like you hate everything that comes out of your fingers for like 7 months with guitar. But like with DJing, I feel like you can really get, I'm within the first couple of days for me, I was like, dude, that was so cool. I want to call my friends and tell them and show them, like, so it is cool, like just getting it and just start mixing a couple songs. There's all these cheap mixers nowadays too.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the cool thing with, I mean, it's good and bad. So, as an old dog veteran, all these people now are DJing, right? And like everybody's a DJ. That was, from like 2010 to 2015, everybody was a DJ. And the price of entry is so much cheaper. You can go get a $100 controller, with a cheap computer that you find off of Craigslist and, a downloaded library or Spotify or whatever it is, right? And, the old dog in me is like, well, they haven't put in the dues, right? They haven't packed like 2 milk crates full of records, and they didn't have to spend $750 and
they haven't slept in their car for a gig.
Well, yeah, whatever it is, right? Or playing a gig for $50 in a bar tab, and they haven't like put their dues in. But at the same time, it's exciting for me because it's like anybody that comes up to me like, hey, I want to learn how to DJ. Hey, here's what you do: go buy this $100 controller, right? Like if it's not for them, it's okay. They haven't like put a bunch of money into it and have it be like, oh, I spent all this money and people aren't, I'm not into it. And so it's actually pretty exciting that everybody has the accessibility to be able to do what 25 years ago me was a challenge to get into. So it's cool because when you find something that you love, you want everybody to like go along with it, right? Like, have you heard this, or have you listened to this, or have you seen this, or have you done this?
You're like, bro, I don't think you understand.
Yeah, this is really cool, right? And so it's exciting for me to have everybody and their brother be able to, like my kids. I'm like I said, I'm older, and so I got a 10 and a 9-year-old. For them to be able to not play with dad's equipment because I have expensive equipment, but $100 mixer, and like go mix. Go figure out what you like. I'll go buy whatever music you want to be able to listen to, right? And they aren't quite there yet, but I'm hoping that they will be. So it's cool for me to be able to, like I said, see all of these people that want to get into it have the opportunity to.
Right.
That's a big part of my core is opportunity for people to be able to experience things that are awesome. So I have no clue where I was going with that, but I think it's cool that a DJ starting out now has a lot more accessibility to the technologies to be able to build it into something that's way more. And trust me, when you start DJing, you think that's all you want to do, and that's cool. And if you stick with that path, there's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, there's perils with being a full-time DJ, but we can talk about that in maybe another podcast. But it's
we could probably squeeze a lot more in here. Who knows? I don't even know what time we're at. I think we're doing great.
But it's if you're starting out and you're a DJ, then that's great. But there's so many different things that you can learn from DJing, event planning and marketing and promotions and audio engineering and social, like how to interact with people in stressful situations where you're sober and they're super intoxicated, right? Or they're in crisis mode or whatever it is. I mean, there's so many things that you can learn being a DJ that you wouldn't think that had anything to do with DJing.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy. It just opens up so many doors. Like it's cool to think. I mean, because I never even. It's not like a lot of times we think we have to have our job title or our decision figured out before we even start it. Right. We're like, all right, well, I'm choosing to be a DJ. That's who I am now. That's what I represent. That's what I'm going to do going forth. But again, you can just say I like music and just point at any of like these apps, these little programs, these whatever, and just think around.
Yeah. I was thinking, like, even as a DJ, we listen to music a lot differently than other people listen to music. Mm-hmm. Like, even when we show up to other clubs, like Jake and I went to Tube a couple times. Tube's a club down in Portland that has phenomenal DJs. We'll sit there.
No, it's teeny tiny. It's like
I think we do
50 people, right?
Yeah,
and they got 100 people in there.
Oh yeah, dude. And it's the way that it's built in there. Like when it sounds right in there, when they have the sound tight, it's not too loud. There has been time where it's too loud, but it sounds super tight in there. I love the sound of it. It's nice.
But we'll sit there and we'll be like, "Whoa, did you just hear that? Did you hear what he just did?" Mm-hmm. And we'll just sit there and we're not nitpicking it. We're just listening to it differently. Or I'll go to like 45 East and I'll be like, oh, that's that collab with this person, this person, this person.
Right.
Or I can hear this song coming in, or I can,
that's the cool thing to listen to different DJs too.
Yeah. Some people, it's totally cool to go to clubs and just have a good time.
Right.
Like me, it's a little bit of both. It's like I want to see what their visuals are like, how they're mixing, new stuff, old stuff. Just
You know what's funny is something that I didn't know when I started was the can of whoop ass I was opening up on my own brain for every event I would go to in the future.
Oh yeah.
So like I didn't realize that I would be judging all these. I thought I was just still going to be able to go to all my favorite shows and just dance around and have a good time, but instead I'm just like over analyzing every single second of everything. It's like the second that you learn that a tree is a tree, you can't look at it and be like that's not true. I don't know what that is. What the hell is that? Like it's once you know this information in with the music world, you keep learning.
Well, and I attribute we go back to being a chef for the night, right?
Yeah.
So I part of being in the nightclub industry early in my career, front of house, I'm waiting tables and doing all that, right? So when as someone who's in the restaurant industry, a chef or whatever, you go to other restaurants and you're analyzing everything. Like, oh, it took too long for that food to get out, or this flavor profile is weird, right? It's the same thing. It doesn't matter if it's an EDM show, doesn't matter if it's a festival, doesn't matter if it's a concert. I am constantly looking at everything and not judging. It's like, oh, that's really cool, or and trying to figure out how they did that or how they did this. Not even so much the artist piece of it,
right?
But then you look at the artist piece, and you're like, oh yeah, this collab, and this VIP, and I've only heard that a couple times, or how they're mixing. I mean, my mixing style has changed greatly since I've dove headfirst into bass music, into dubstep and trap and mid tempo, and and it's like, okay, double drops and all these different techniques that, to me as a straight DJ, meaning eight beats in mixing, that's my style. To see how they mix now is it's awesome to be able to go experience that. So it's definitely frustrating for people that I take with me to events. Because
they're like, can you just shut up?
Yeah, like talking. I don't care. You're breaking the illusion. Okay,
dude, it's funny because I go with friends because there's a lot of people who they love the intricacies of it. Like I have tons of friends who don't know anything about DJing. They kind of remain in that like everything you're saying though I love. Please tell me like because there's people who love to hear about that shit.
Right.
Majority of the part like if it's a girlfriend she doesn't want to hear any of that shit at all. But like some of these guys when you're explaining it they're just like wow like that's what it takes to think that way. And it's funny though, but it's like it just unfolds that way. You don't really try. It's not like I'm not trying to overanalyze the situation. It's kind of just how knowledge works. You can't, the thing with the tree, you can't look at a book and not start reading it. You know what the words say. And so this is this really cool thing that I knew that there was music theory. I knew that there was like once you know how to read a note, or once you know like you hear that and that's this sound, that's this key. You unlock that's like a different language, right? So it's a different way of understanding the world. But it's cool. There's even before music theory, even before all the weird rules of music and how it works together. Like DJing is its own thing. Still, it still seems desperately different. I have noticed, like, so I was never a producer. I don't have a music background. Growing up, I skateboarded a lot and I listened to everything. I loved I really liked punk rock, rap, everything. I just had an obsession with music. I didn't know anything about it. I never took a choir class, anything. So learning all this was kind of weird. I feel like I would kind of like dance around and like certain conversations where I'd be like, I'm in front of people who are like nice, good producers, and they're saying things that I have no idea what the fuck the words are coming out of their mouth because I don't have the music background. I'm trying to like keep up with it. It's kind of funny because we think DJing like, okay, so you know everything about music, you know everything about audio engineering, you know everything about live events, you know everything about my sister, like whatever. Like there's a lot of different compartmentalizations when it comes to DJing. So as I've been on these like more recent years, the last year and a half, I've been producing more. I've been kind of like digging into my knowledge and seeing what happens, like watching less tutorials, doing more of like stop trying to plan it, just like go in front of your keyboard and just like snot cry into it for 4 hours and just see what comes out. It's hugely different process. Producing and creating music is a night and day difference than DJing. So can we, for the average consumer who doesn't understand, like I said, the difference between Skrillex and a wedding DJ, can we like talk about the difference between like a producer and a DJ? Can we clear that up for listeners?
Yeah. So a producer is somebody who pretty much sits on a computer and they'll use what's called a DAW, a digital audio workstation shop.
Mm-hmm. Workspace. Is it station or space? Sorry, keep going.
It's a DAW.
It's a DAW. And you might hear Jake or I talk about like certain ones like Ableton, Fruity Loops. Some people use Reason. A lot of people use Logic. And these are all different DAWs. There's one's not better than the other. I'd say Pro Tools is more for live instruments.
Yeah.
Whereas like more DJs are probably more like Ableton or Logic.
You just got confusing. You said DJs who like
or producers. Sorry,
it's a confusing thing. So producing is like making the music, right?
Yeah, it's
and then DJing is. It's funny because we sound like we don't do anything when you say it in the sentence, but producers make music and we play other people's music.
Correct.
Yes.
Like I don't know how to explain that to where we don't sound like we're.
But you can have a DJ that will remix a song, right?
Yep.
So or they'll make an edit. And so they'll rearrange different pieces of it, and they're using the same tools that the producer is. So, producers, they make the music, and then they get into a point where they start getting asked to perform that music live. Whether or not they've pre-recorded the MP3, the file, and they're doing what we do, which is as a DJ just hitting play, and mixing the song in. So it's the word DJ has been used interchangeably over the last 10 years now because producers have, rightfully so, in my opinion, have come forward and they're like, well, we want to get paid for performing our music too, just like a band,
right.
And, you know, so you have like Calvin Harris. Calvin Harris is a producer. Okay. He produces his own music, but he gets buco buccos going into the mega clubs in Vegas and around the world to actually play that music as well. So, you know, producer and DJ are interchangeable in the fact, I think, one way, meaning a producer can be a DJ, but a DJ in a traditional sense isn't a producer.
Right. Yeah, that's like I said. Like I've always made edits, and that's the thing is like people are like, "Hey, man, you should make a remix of this song." That's like I've gotten that sentence because people think that you're cool. They've experienced like I don't know anything about this stuff, but I know that when I heard you play, it was super cool and I had a good time.
Right.
And I like this song, and I think that if you did it in your style, it would sound cool. So they know that, but. You know, and I make edits to where, you know, you mash up different things and you add different samples and, you know, mashing up is even just you take more than one song or the elements of a song, an instrumental and an a cappella, and combine them together in your own way.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I would say, like, there are producers out there that you wouldn't even know is them on a different track. Like it would be like who's a popular female singer out now, like
Dua Lipa.
Yeah, Dua Lipa. Like you would think that like, oh, like she has just some person in the background who makes all her music. Well, turns out like 9 times out of 10, like it might be Diplo or it might be Cashmere Cat.
Right. Yeah, and these are like big DJs that people have heard.
Yeah.
Right. Names.
But you would never know it's them, and it's like, whoa, is that Cashmere Cat like behind that? Like what's going on there? Or even like K3lls. K3lls was, I think there was when Black Panther came out. There was like the guys who were making the soundtrack to or the theme music to Black Panther. They actually used a K3lls like bass hit.
Oh yeah,
it's
so cool.
They would show it in the interview, and K3lls always marks his K3lls snare, K3lls this or whatever it is. And so there it is. He goes, "Holy crap!" Like the kick drum I made is actually in
the Black Panther. Wait, can you back up a little bit? The kick drum he made. Can you explain that a little bit? So that's the producing side. K3lls is a producer. He produced. So when he makes a kick drum, he has these sub programs, let's say, within the DAW, within your digital audio workstation, and you can have their synthesizers. There's all these crazy. As a listener, if you've seen all these crazy knobs, there's now the same thing. They do all those same things, but it's on your computer. It's digital, So when he says he makes his own sub or his own kick, it's like he's like making these frequencies and combining, modulators and all these effects, different whatever, to make a sound. So he's saying he put out there. He's like, hey, here's my kick, and it sounds like whatever it is, and then other people downloaded that at their house in Alabama or whatever, and they put it in. They drag and dropped it, and they put it into their beat pad. And they made a song, and that song ended up on Black Panther. So that's what you're saying. Like exactly. That's so crazy, right?
Yeah,
like,
insane.
Yeah, and so that's what I think when the average consumer hears producer or DJ, they don't really understand how complex it is. And I think that what should have happened is it happened so fast, but we need different terminology. I think is what should have happened here because it is confusing as fuck, right? But I think like getting to know the difference between DJ and producer. A lot of the times. Like me, for example, I've been a DJ. It's going to be getting more confusing. I've been a DJ forever, but now that I'm producing my own music, I have a plan of starting to do like some more MIDI stuff in my live sets. I have a plan of like bringing in vocalists for stuff that I write. Like I write like the instrumentals or dink around on the piano keys, and then I'll write the lyrics. But I'm going to release a song with someone else singing it. But I wrote it. I wrote the instrumental, but I don't particularly think that my voice is going to make this song as great as it could be.
And you're doing the arrangement with the overall track as well.
Yeah. And so looking forward in the future, it's going to be again the same confusing loop, right? It's like I am a DJ, I'm known as this or whatever, but this is my produced song. Also, it's not me; it's someone else singing it. It's kind of this confusing dichotomy.
Well, I mean, a good example. So Nitty Gritty. Okay, Nitty Gritty. He's famous right now for doing these TikTok videos where he just walks around and like gets different sounds, right? He did Walgreens one, which was hilarious. He's walking through Walgreens and he picks up like a little plastic guitar and he goes ding, and he's recording all of the sounds, right? And then he puts it in. But a lot of people don't realize that. So Bad Bunny, right? Bad Bunny had 200 Mile Per Hour, which was actually co-produced with Diplo as well.
Yep.
And so Nitty Gritty actually has a Latin Grammy
Oh, whoa. Okay.
because that song won a Grammy, and he made some of the instruments, and then Diplo put his name on it. But Diplo and Nitty Gritty didn't sing it. It's a Bad Bunny song,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And so it's amazing to have like all of these. Like if you look at Sicko Mode, there's like 30 or 35
Dude.
people that are credited on it.
I'm so glad you brought that up
That
because I was
is
going to
so
tell you. I was
sick.
just going to.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't know that. Hold up. Can
Yeah.
you explain? There's 35 people credited on that song?
I don't know if it's 35. I'd have to look
It's
up
like
on
just a
Wikipedia.
ton.
Yeah,
Sounds
it's
super
it's
good.
it's a shit ton. It's crazy. So I was reading an article on it. Yeah, look it up, Kelly. But
Yeah.
it's so that song is so sampled that there's yeah.
Now I got pulled off YouTube.
Yeah,
I think as long as it's under 5 seconds, I'm Gucci. I haven't quite learned the copyright laws there. I learned those on SoundCloud pretty well. They
Yeah.
let me hide there, but
So all of the samples and all of the arrangements, the notes, everything is everybody was credited on it, which that was the biggest song of 2018, right? 18, yeah.
Or Mobamba.
Or Mobamba. Ugh.
that one came out of nowhere. See, that's the thing. A lot of these trends in music are super weird. The more I learn about society and all the culture stuff, I'm like, man, I don't think we actually like these songs. I think that we're just being told that we like them. We don't realize it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times, as I've been more detached, like the last year, a lot of the pop music that I used to really like, I'm like, oh, like I was just doing my job and
Regurgitating
in the middle
it.
of
Yep.
it. Yeah, I didn't super like it.
Old Town Road. Classic case, dude.
Right.
I think
This is so many people.
Old Town Road is only popular because it was on TikTok so much.
Yeah.
And it's little kids with smartphones, man.
Right.
It's
they control. It's weird because little kids with smartphones. So that's the thing with social media that's new. That's sending music in different ways. Thanks for letting me see that. Yeah, there's a ton of people who produce Sicko Mode. It's like projecting us into weird things. I heard this thing on Instagram. They're talking about getting rid of the likes on Instagram.
Yeah.
And they were diving into that, and they're like, I heard maybe it was Gary Vee talk about how, as an artist, so say you have 0 followers, you have 5 pieces of art, and they're just like the most intuitive. They're all very different, but you're like a wide-ranging artist, and they're all 5 different, very important pieces of you, like that you somehow got to some conclusion to make these intricate art. Well, number 1 and 2, nobody really likes those. Number 3, that has 500 views. Number 4, that has 17,000 views. Number 5, nothing. And so if these are different kinds of arts, your number 3 and your number 4, you're like, these are what people like apparently, so that's what I'm going to do.
Right.
But now you have other 4 parts of who you are, maybe, or who you are trying to explore, this thing you're trying to communicate to the world through art, that have now been like, let's not really focus on those because people don't like those. Well, what if those people who like those photos, those whatever I said, whatever number, are all 8-year-old kids with TikTok?
Right.
Right.
So you just curated your creation, from your soul as a human, whatever this means. You just curated it based off of the likes that you got.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is a little bit different. I think like music is we're seeing that with music, but I will say that's just popular music. We all listen to not just popular music, right?
Right.
Yeah.
There's plenty of underground music that's not known in all these genres that is just fucking
Amazing.
phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really original.
When you really think about, and it goes back to accessibility. When a producer 30 years ago, 25 years ago, you need to have a full studio. We were talking about analog and digital mixers earlier.
Right.
You'd have this whole stack of analog equipment, and then you have your mixer in front of it, and then to be able to acquire the musical instruments, to be able to, you either have to have produce or record it live, or you'd have to have like a sound bank, or you do MIDI, which was garbage. But the accessibility to be able to create music is amazing. Like, you could don't pirate software, but you could pirate, your DAW and have a cheap $300 laptop and produce the next big hit.
Right.
Whatever big hit is in your mind, meaning mainstream or like all your buddies love it.
Right.
So-
Yeah.
It really leveled the playing field.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I'm myself personally getting into making edits and making not remixes. We want to talk about that too. Difference between a bootleg and a remix and an edit. A remix is something that's licensed by the artist. It's official. Bootleg is you have either stumbled across the different components for the song or stems, or you are basically doing a do-it-yourself a cappella and then remixing it yourself, which is a bootleg. You have an edit which you're rearranging or mashing up two different songs. So it's crazy, like I said, the accessibility to be able to create music, and yet we have the same 20 songs that are being played on the radio or Spotify or and it keeps getting regurgitated, and we talk about I got to hear this song because it's the biggest song in the world. I'm like, you listened to it like 15 times already today.
Like you listened to it in your car on the way here, bitch.
And you're gonna listen to it on the way home, right?
It's funny how it goes, though. I mean, a lot of times I do think it does go back down to like the gatekeeper thing. People like, they don't have time to dive into all their own music tastes. But a lot of times, people I don't think they think they can. I don't know. Like it's like a. Let's not even think about it. I don't know much about music. Let's just let this play.
Right.
I don't know. It's cool, like seeing where it's going. Like sampled music is not new.
Right.
Everybody remixing other people's stuff, adding all these things. But like, I don't know what the cap is. Like Kelly just showed me the credits on Sicko Mode by Travis Scott. Well, not by Travis Scott. He's in it.
Right.
It's like there's hundreds of people in it. There are few people in it, but. I don't know. It's just interesting to see what the future is. What do you guys think? So back in the day when there was bands, right? There's a bunch of people. There's predictions. Like I remember the Daft Punk album, Gregorio Moroder has like this vocal sample of like I predict that it will be one person on stage or something like that. What do you guys think in 10 years? Where does like the not only the bands but live performances, DJing, bands, producers? Where do you think it's going? 10 years.
Yeah. Even how you said that, like I think Skrillex actually did a thing where he had George Morrison from The Doors, who was like, I think it's going to be like a bunch of machines, or it's going to be like a tapes.
Maybe that's what I was talking about.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know, but it's music is like in this really cool crossover stage, and it's like, who would ever thought like Diplo would make a song with Morgan Wallen? Like
right, country artist.
It's country artist, yeah. And Diplo is like this, very urban beat kind of guy,
right?
Yeah. And you're seeing like all these different people, like country singers, come in and doing like EDM, or even like there's like even like Rehab did a song with Mitchell Tenpenny, or did the remix to that Mitchell Tenpenny song, and it's amazing. It's so good, and I'm seeing all these different blends of music coming together because a lot of people are just saying screw the rules,
right?
And I think that's
realizing there is no rules.
There
right.
are no rules.
Yeah.
Like I just wrote down because I wanted to talk about it. There's no such thing as cheating when it comes to music.
But what do you mean there? What do you mean there's no such thing as cheating?
So, we were just on, producing music there, and I say that there's no such thing as cheating. Like, well, I guess I have to define this a little bit better, because you can't just go rip people off. You can't just go, I'm gonna steal this whole track and then just make
put my name over it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you can definitely make edits, and that's fine, but you can't just be like, this is mine now.
Yeah, you'll get caught up pretty quick.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say, there's no such thing as cheating. Like when you make music, and you're just starting out, and you hear a beat loop, or you see a loop or a beat loop that's 8 bars long, and you're like, gosh, I really like this beat. I'm gonna take this beat, and I'm gonna put my own guitar over the top of it or something. And people are like, well, I feel like I'm cheating because that's not something I made.
Yeah.
But yet it's still not cheating in a way, because it's like you're not it goes back to like, well, I didn't pick up the drumstick and hit the drum and recorded it, or I didn't skin the sheep to make this drum, or I didn't.
Right.
I didn't,
like where does it stop?
Yeah.
At what point?
And now I'm a sheep farmer.
Yeah.
And not a producer. So
right. Yeah, no, that's funny, Kelly. There's this like little thing that I think we've seen. We send every couple of years. We send this picture back and forth. Do you remember this? It was something along those lines. Like I started thinking that making my own or using someone else's drum samples was cheating, so I started making my own. And then it's like I started thinking that using someone else's drum was cheating, so I started learning how to make my own drums.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you're a farmer. You don't make music anymore.
Right.
That's what I think. That's probably you referencing.
Exactly.
Dude, Kelly, I think that's a great point. Like thinking that you're cheating. So that's something that I've come across lately. So have been working with a ton of bands, a lot of like crazy talented dudes where I'm just like I don't know what you guys are doing and how you're doing it, but it's really cool. Like a lot of really talented guitar players and stuff. And something that happens sometimes, it's like not that they do it on purpose, but I don't want to show them my shit because it's loops, it's samples. Like because I'm a DJ, that's how I learn. That's how it is. Like I can't pick up something super authentic, and it's like I have this feeling in the back of my head that they're going to be like, well, I'm a little more pure than you. That's kind of a cool little beat you got there, buddy. You know, but
gatekeeping.
It's funny though. It's funny. They don't do it. They don't do it. Like they don't actually feel that way. You know, it's this like intuition that I have around them. But there is some times where some of the conversations, me as someone who is on the fence, or like on this like in between of like these different worlds of music. I think like I'm kind of just like a foot in whatever door I can get it into. Like hearing them speak about other people, not like that they're talking crap, but like hearing them downplay other people's music for not being for being loop based or for being not original, or like they just got those chords online, or they don't know how to actually play those chords. Those things, when I hear those things from like talented musicians, it discourages me so much, and I don't want to show them anything. It actually ripped my soul out. I'm like, cool, I'm an idiot, and I'm not even in your guys' lane. I'm not going to show you what I thought was cool. It's funny, like there is no gatekeepers, but we still think that we need to like, I'm not allowed to do it this way. So I think just to summarize what you said, Kelly, there's no such thing as cheating, man. Like you can create whatever you want. You can beat on your lap and you can record that, and then you can add some effects in there. You can take it from your favorite song and take the last fucking 8 bars of your favorite song and then go from there for 5 hours and see what happens.
Right.
I think it goes, screw the rules, man. Screw the rules.
Screw the rules.
I think one of the greatest singers still alive now is Dolly Parton, easily. Like, amazing voice. And I'm kind of wondering why hasn't anybody else, like, I don't know if it's just because she just doesn't want to work with anybody else. That's totally fine. Dolly Parton can do whatever she wants. Literally. But like, it's like, why not get her on something? Like, that would be so amazing. Like, I would listen to that song like every day. But it's just stuff like that. It's like, why put yourself in, or screw the rules, man. Like, just make music.
But you know what is cool is in those same lanes of rules, there also is screw the rules, but you can make your own too, right? So Kelly St. Onge, if you're like, you know what, I think that Dolly needs to be on another song, and I think that I'm decent enough to make the song that she's going to be on. Like, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm going to make a song that I can get Dolly Parton on. You know what I mean? You can have these little pipe dreams. Like, if you're like, more people need to hear this, you can make that little lane. You can nudge your own little path. Like, start your own little scene in your own town and project it out 5 years and see what's going on. You know, you never really know what you're going to get. We are getting up here in length, guys. This is definitely something that I like. If you're down, maybe every couple months or something, we can kind of chat on the world of DJing. If you guys have any other DJ homies, we can get this going.
That'd be cool.
I did want to, if there's anything else you guys want to interject, I did want to like talk about live shows and festivals. Just I kind of want to end on a fun note of us being in the crowd, not DJs, not working. Me myself, if we could touch on like, dude, festivals, outdoor music outside for me is like, I mean, again, I said that Cascade when I first saw him at the Gorge was like changed me, like made me want to get into music. But do you guys have like your ultimate? For me, it's festivals. Some people really like massives, and by massives I mean like a huge, like the WAMU Theater in Seattle. There's like 1,000 people inside. Some people like the more underground. Some people like 100 people in like a dirty club. Like where are you guys at? For me, it's festivals all the way. As an attendee, man, a festival is the most magical, wonderful feeling I've experienced.
Festivals is where it's at. So for me, being older, I mean, I've done, I started out with warehouse parties. Like, we'd get the address the night of, and you go until 6 a.m. and you walk out and the sun's out, you're a vampire. I've gone to that, to doing club events and at 45 East, and just good production and good artists, But I'm starting to move into, and I've done DSO, I've done Bass Canyon, those EDM style events, festivals, which are great. Camping, I love it. I'm starting to get more into doing the immersive type festivals. So I'm queued up to go to Electric Forest, which I'm super stoked for. I did
Where's that at? What state?
That's Michigan.
Oh, right.
And then we're doing, I did Eclipse Festival, which was in 2017. So when I talk about it like an immersive festival, so immersive festival is going to have, for another word, basically TED Talks at them during the day. They've got yoga. They've got genres of music that you have never even heard of. I mean, they have like live music. They have people that are doing live band. But then they have DJs, they have producers that are actually up there queuing their tracks and their transitions and their instruments live. They have camping, so you still get that festival feel. But going to that Eclipse Festival, Lightning in a Bottle is another one that I want to hit up. Even farther, as far as going to hopefully someday Burning Man. That's kind of where the direction that I've been going into, because I've done the big production events, $1 million shows, the big masses. You're like, yeah, this is really cool. Yeah, you want to rage, but how growing as an individual and as an adult, you get older and different things are more important to you.
Right.
Health and body and mind and spirit. Going along those paths, but they'll still be able to experience this amazing music that we don't get to hear every day. So
yeah, dude, the immersiveness of it is, I'm with you on that. When you said immersive festival, I was like, oh, I should have added that word too. Definitely, like when it's all in.
Yep.
When you're there, you're in their world, right? Like Kelly and I, we've been to What the Fest.
There's magic here.
There's magic here.
Oh
wait,
my gosh.
we should tell that story real quick. Okay, we're gonna end on this one story from this festival, What the Fest. Thanks again, guys. We'll end on this story, but this is DJ Toasty and DJ K3lls. We do actually, all three of us, have a show together in April. I'm not sure what day this particular podcast is.
18th.
18th, April 18th?
Yeah.
Cool, yeah. So we have a show, the three of us. I feel like if you're in town in Longview area, we'll get Silver Star. Brian is controlling all that. He has a lot of strings and ideas and really fucking cool things going on there. So that'll be fun. That'll be a glow party. But anyway, we can include info on that in the comments too if you'd like, Brian.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
A couple of info on that in the comments on YouTube or wherever you listen to this at. But Kelly, tell me about this transdimensional turtle or this magic that you've heard of at this festival.
Well, do you want the magic or do you want the transdimensional?
I need them both real quick.
Okay.
It's so good. This festival's amazing.
What the Festival is a festival in Defer, Oregon, down through the Dalles, and amazing festival. Rest in peace, What the Festival. We'll miss you.
They're done.
It just like what Brian said, it's a immersive festival. So you go there and you show up and it's amazing. Like you just feel like really good energy there. Like people are positive. People will want to talk to you and stuff like that. But so the transdimensional turtle, it came because inside the festival there was a gumball machine.
And this is just in the woods. Like, this is on a path in the woods. This is how cool this place is. They're like, you go walk in the woods for a while.
Yeah. Like, look at eForest photos and, like, think of, like, that kind of, like, lighting and stuff in the woods. And then there's this gumball machine. And it's a mission machine. So what you do is it's like a candy egg, and you get your mission to do. And Jake's mission was, I think, to dust off the gumball machine.
Oh, right, yeah. I was like, it was like clean it or something.
But mine was to kiss a transdimensional turtle.
Right.
And I'm like,
we're both just like, what?
I'm like, what? I don't even know what that means. So we go out, we go throughout our night, and we stayed out all night. Like, you can stay in this festival like 24 hours. Like, you can go,
you can take a nap by the front stage. Like, it's so cool. They're like, once you're here, you do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's cool. So awesome. So I think Jake got up in the morning. Jake likes to go on walks, kind of clear his head, and he goes, Kelly, I found it.
I feel like I ran back, actually. I think I ran back to the campsite. It was so profound because we didn't know what was happening.
Right.
And I was probably super fucked up when we did the go home in the first place. So
Yeah,
crazy.
tell me about like what.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I was on this walk. Is like we were up most of the night. Like, you sleep for a few hours. Just the art of a festival, really.
Yeah.
I went out and I was taking my walk in the morning, and this festival is really cool. You can go like. You like the front gates are like you just kind of wave at the dude as you're walking in. It's like if you're on our property, you can go in and out.
Right.
It's so sick. So in the morning, I'm like walking through the woods. There's a few people here and there. You walk past like a yoga class.
Right.
I don't think there was music playing at this time. They didn't have music going in the morning, but you can start to hear like the camps throughout the area.
Oh, yeah.
There's thousands of people here. Walking through the woods and way out, like not even like on the path or anything. I literally see this little thing and I take a glance and I look closely and it's like this little metal. I think somebody must have made it, maybe.
Yeah. And
it is a trans-dimensional turtle, like a little metal dude just out in the woods.
Yeah, with like diamond eyes and like
Yeah.
a hat. Like, I should post like the picture of me kissing it because we actually did.
Right.
So the 2 years that we went, I found it again and I had to kiss it. So I'll post it in the comments. But,
yeah, definitely, dude.
But so Jake found it. He was like, Kelly, I found it, dude. Like and I was like, oh my gosh, like no way.
Like ran back and like hey, excuse me, we got to kiss this turtle. Like, we got to get in here. But
so
the other thing there with the magic, there's magic here at this immersive festival, which is it's really something else. You feel like we hear about Burning Man, we hear about all these places, and I think the outside consumer is like, that is some crazy ass shit, and I am not that, so
right.
I'm not going. I think that's kind of a lot of the point. A lot of the point of Burning Man is, I don't know what it is now, and I've never been myself, but it's kind of like this, it's Burning Man. Like, it's this society of, like, whatever you're normally used to doing, set it on fire and see what the fuck comes out. And
right.
I think a lot of these festivals, the immersive ones, like, man, the amount of times that I'm just stone cold sober, dancing around, my arms flailing around like an 8-year-old kid, like, you just feel like this whole,
Well, and it's an escape. I mean,
yeah, right, yeah. And there's a bunch of other people who are just like you. You dance around, and someone else notices that you're dancing around. They're like, "Hey, you're awesome. I love you."
Right.
Well, so the last thing we'll end on here is we were out playing this. Was it a register, like a money register?
Yeah, like an old school cash register / like beat machine.
Yeah, this old school cash register. It's again in the woods. It's standing up. I may have photos of that as well. And like we walked up to it, and you start hitting these buttons, but it's hooked to a MIDI controller and a little speaker.
That's awesome.
And so they program like a boing, it's like almost like Mario sounds. And if you hit the right combination of buttons, the register opens. Okay. And it's like this thing that's like you don't know. Like you have to, like we were playing it for 5 minutes at least before the register. We didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
We're just jamming out. And there was some sort of like, there was a candy that Kelly was just talking about or something. Yeah. Like right before he was like something about some candy that he really particularly wanted, like a certain flavor even. Yeah. And anyway, this thing comes out, we hit the right combination and it opens. Yeah. And in there is this candy that Kelly was just talking about. We had this like
that's crazy
candy,
like this like the flavor, everything that we had this long conversation the night before, and we're like, what? And then some dude walks up behind us, and we're in the woods. He walks up behind us and he leans in between Kelly and I like a movie, and he goes, "There's magic here," and he walks away.
Oh my god!
And Kelly and I we probably high-fived and hugged for like a half hour. It was just really cool. But yeah, man, it was so wonderful. That was what the fest can do for Oregon. Immersive festivals are. I think we're all kind of in agreement on that. But yeah, guys, let's go ahead and round it up. Our time's getting long here. One more time, Kelly and Brian, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, I appreciate you having us. That's awesome.
We'll have to do some more of these. So, cheers, guys. Junkyard Love Podcast.